feeling good. Things are solid. A lot of operational stuff going on at VaynerMedia. Spending some time with fam, FaceTiming, connecting with friends and family, and most of all, really enjoying this tremendous show. First, huge shout out to the First in Line group that's been doing watch parties on this. Big shout out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all live this morning. Dustin on ones and twos. Thank you for that. Got my tea. I'm ready for my questions. And as always, screenshot this, share on Twitter so that I can follow and retweet you all along the show during the in-betweens. Get that screenshot in right now. Share the Facebook URL. Share the Facebook URL if you're in it right now. In the bottom there, hit that little share. Or just copy the URL and post it. Let's get your homies in here. Dustin, let's get our first question in here.
Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I'm not drinking tea. I'm drinking coffee, so I need to get
Respect.
on it. But first, I want to say thank you to Justin and your entire team for giving me this opportunity. I was able to meet Justin and go to VaynerMedia in New York, which was great. Hopefully, I get to meet you one day. But a little bit about my background is, I graduated from Villanova, played basketball there, and I was able to generate a very large audience on my Instagram platform. I got a verified blue check, worked for Baron Davis in LA, was heavily in sports production. So my main question for you is, now that all of these new social media platforms are opening up, you have TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook even, how can I generate that same large audience that I did on Instagram onto all these other social media platforms? And then how can I kind of focus my content to make sure that I'm doing the same things that align on these social media platforms?
So you don't have to have, on the last part, it's important to be contextual in the room that you're in. So make sure your content is contextual to it, right? Like you on the basketball court during your college years was the different you than was in the classroom, which was the different you that when you went out with your girls and turned up, right? So I think, make sure that on TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, it's always you, but it's a different version of you. Different adjectives, slightly different content, different post-production. I think you use your Instagram right now. So one of the strategies that I had when I saw that Facebook fan pages were going to get less organic reach about 5 years ago was I said, oh my God, this is not going to be the prime place anymore. So I'm going to use this chapter this next year, which we nailed it. I could see it and we nailed it, to build up all the other platforms, because this is where my biggest base is. That's what I think people should be doing with their Instagram right now. You should be how many times a day do you post on Instagram?
Main posts, I barely post, but every day on my story at least. But even Justin got on me a little bit about posting consistently.
Yeah, I think people have decided to use their main Instagram feed like a fucking gallery, right? Like it's got to be like this perfect photo, all this shit. They overthink it. That's why they don't post enough. I think you should be posting 2 times a day minimum. I think you should be posting 3 times a day. The post you want, and then 1 post to build up your TikTok. Like literally, it's your TikTok and it's posted in your Instagram, and you're like, yo, follow me on TikTok. It's going to get way less likes. Everyone's like, oh, it's not as many likes. But meanwhile, in 24 months, when organic reach on Instagram is declining and TikTok is popping, you're going to be happy you did it.
Right.
It's almost like, oh, fuck, I was cool as fuck in middle school. But then when you go to high school, it doesn't fucking matter. So everybody who's blue checked and 500,000 followers on Instagram right now, they could end up being Dane Cook and Tila Tequila. Those 2 fucking dominated MySpace for all the old heads in here, But, just because you were popping on something for a minute doesn't mean it doesn't change. Like being a contestant in American Idol season 2 and 3 meant you were a celebrity. Now, not as much. And so things change. So I would use your Instagram right now to build up your other social networks.
Yeah, for sure. I link everything together. One hard component that I kind of had to deal with was when I left college, I couldn't sell Villanova anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm taking pictures in my uniform. I'm no longer a basketball player in this Villanova uniform. So my content sort of changed, and I kind of had
It's supposed to.
Right. It's supposed, yeah. And
it's supposed to. That's life, right? Like, I get it.
Right.
But, like, the cool thing is you evolve. Like, all my content used to be wine.
Right.
And when I started wanting to talk about business, I had to start over.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at it as a negative, like, fuck, I've lost this platform and this and that, or this fan base, a lot of these people. Like, the reality is you're fortunate that you have that starting base.
Right.
The entire game is based on what you put out. And if you're not putting out main feed posts, you're not talking. And if you're not talking, you're not being heard. And if you're not being heard, you can't build attraction, connection, and community.
Mm-hmm. As a content creator, it's hard to really generate an audience when you move from different platforms, especially like myself, where I had to figure out, all right, who's going to be invested into Villanova basketball anymore? And I'm not even there anymore. So now I have to remember what basketball did for me, opened up my outlets. And that's what I'm working with now. And then figuring out what content to produce along the way.
You need to post content as if you're talking to your friends and family. You need to be thinking about documenting, not original creating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could take a video right now with Kobe in the background and just tell people why you loved him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, listen to me. Everybody overthinks content.
I can see it.
Everybody overthinks it. It's not that fucking serious. That's why people love stories. It disappears because people are insecure.
Right.
The reason people love stories is It's like, oh, cool. Who gives a fuck? And then they treat their fucking Instagram account like it's a museum.
Right. Even for me, when I do business with companies and products as a social media influencer, they want to give me that discount code and make me just post the picture with the product and do it on my story. And in a sense, I see everybody doing those same marketing content strategies. And do they work? To a certain degree, but what's actually going to make you stand out?
Yeah. And I think more importantly, if you're doing a discount code and you're only getting paid by conversion, that's not something interesting because you're giving up all the brand dollars.
Right. And for me in the long run.
That's right. You lose. You get 7 people, 1, sometimes 0, right? And it's like, fuck, they got all that brand awareness, but they only paid you for the sales conversion. Yeah. Listen to me. You need to rethink your whole thing. You need to post. Listen to me really good. You need to post 3 times a day on Instagram. Right now, your head's like, what the fuck's he talking about? I'm posting once every fucking 2 weeks. And I'm like, cool, but I'm fucking telling you. That's why you're fucking up this morning and asking me this question. Like, I'm telling you right now, you need to go there and you have to attack TikTok. You have to. And you don't have to fucking dance. You have to fucking put out whatever you want to put out. Talk about transitions in life. You're going through a transition, like it's coming out of your body. You're going through a transition in life. 7 million people declared unemployment last week. They're all going through transitions in life. An ungodly amount of people are 18, 22, going through a divorce, starting a new business. Like, everyone's going through transitions in life. Just fucking speak your truth.
Right. That's what I've been trying to do, is stay genuine to myself.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. You haven't, because you've been using the easy way out on stories. You have to fucking post 2 to 3 times a day on your main feed on Instagram. I promise you, once you break that preciousness of it, it will fucking change your game.
Right.
Right now, you're in the framework of worrying about the people on the other side of the post. You need to worry about you.
That's right. Just been focused on getting 30,000 likes on my pictures because that's what I've been able to generate, and I need to move away from that.
Listen to me. That means dog shit. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Why not 40,000?
I have to admit, I did care at one point. I did care about the numbers. They did get me.
Good news. Everybody cares.
Right.
So you're not on the island. Everybody cares. You know why? Everybody lives in high school, even when they leave it.
Right.
You have to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. I know.
I'm obsessed with getting people out of high school.
I know. I'm like hanging on, man.
Don't let go and go be happy and talk about some shit you like. Do you like chess? Do you like bananas? Do you like smoothies? Do you like Dunkin' Donuts coffee? Do you like Kobe? Do you like checkers? Do you like your old friend Rick from high school? Like, just make shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. 6,000 likes. 6,000 likes on a post that gets you 1,000 followers on TikTok is way better than 50 posts in a row that get you 50,000 likes on Instagram. For you right now.
I can
understand?
I created my TikTok probably in 3 weeks so far. I already have 40,000 followers, and I'm not dating.
Ready? I want 2 things from you. I want you posting 2 to 3 times. This is my prescription. 2 to 3 times a day on Instagram, and never starting sentences about social media predicated on followers.
Right.
Even the insight of like, I already, right? You know?
Or blue check.
Or blue check. Like, right. If you think about it, you're looking for outside validation, and you need to start the process of inside game.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Right.
Right?
I'm going to start posting more. I got to.
Good luck.
Well, thank you, Gary, so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You too.
That was a big time one, Dustin, to start it off. I think that just fucking helped 1 million people over the next 10 years. That video circulates in its individuality. Let's keep this going. Let's see what's going on Twitter. People sharing the screenshots. There we go. Good job, Nick. Nick, my man. I am your 80th follower. Uh-oh. Sean Kelly's in the building.
Hey, Gary. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm 23. I'm from New Jersey, born and raised. I actually live in Piscataway right now, 10 minutes away.
Let's go. I used to do the Piscataway. Oh no, that's Phillips. No, Piscataway. I used to do Piscataway, New Jersey. Kyle, I can't even remember his name. A Jet player was drafted from Piscataway, New Jersey. Went to Boise State. He was a corner. I'll remember in a minute. Go ahead.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I basically went to Rutgers. That's where I found you, listened to you all throughout freshman year, so thank you so much. My question today, basically I host free monthly networking events in New Jersey. I really like to stress the free factor, and I make sure all my speakers don't sell or pitch anything. I've been having them the past 6 months. Our first one had 28 people, and then our last one in February had 154 people, so we've been growing slowly but surely. We were going to have one in Miami actually yesterday, but with the coronavirus, we had to cancel it. We had about 300 people confirmed for that one. So I know I'm onto something with these free events. D-Rock was actually going to speak at one. So yeah, shout out to D-Rock. But my question to you is, how can I turn these profitable? Because we're not profitable yet since they are free.
Sponsor.
And how can I keep growing?
One sponsor. One clean sponsor. I like what you're doing. The way you make it profitable is you get Chase, you get SAP, you get, Oracle, you get, Toyota. You get one clean corporate sponsor who wants access. So what you do is you make a deck of like who's coming, what's the demo of the people coming. At 150, 300, you start with a smaller business. I mean, heck, even Wine Library, if it's in New Jersey, might want to sponsor it and pay you, at first $2,000 to be a sponsor and serve wine at the event. You get one clean sponsor that gets like 2 seconds, like just, we're used, you or whoever the MC is like, big shout out to, Wine Library for sponsoring the event. All right, let's get going. Like literally not like a fucking disgusting like commercial, just a clean sponsor that wants access to the audience. One.
Amazing.
And the way you do that right now is you make a video or a 3 or 4 page deck that sums up what you're up to, and you just fucking start asking.
Got it. Thank you so much. And I guess how can I further grow the audience? Because everything up to this point has been me cold DMing or cold emailing people to come. I pretty much DM every day until I'm blocked. But I guess how can I run paid traffic to
You can run paid traffic, but the first marketing campaign I did for Wine Library when I was a kid was print out 20% off a case of wine coupons on my computer and then go to the Short Hills Mall and put them on people's car windows. Like,
wow.
like the beginning is ghetto. And honestly, one day you'll reminisce about the ghetto. You'll reminisce about the dirt. You'll reminisce about the beginning. And so, you're doing it. 28, 57, 103, 150, 300. Like the word of mouth will take over. Content. Every time you're doing an event, there should be 50 to 100 pieces of content on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You're probably not doing enough post-event content to spur up awareness. That's called branding. And so a weekly podcast that's tied into the thing. I mean, right now, I would probably reach out to everybody that's ever spoke and do some Zoom and Google Hangout and Instagram Lives with them. Like, content's the fucking – like, it's crazy. It's kind of like – eat well and work out, eat well and work out. Like, that's how you get in shape. And like, I keep talking about like, how do you create opportunities in business? And I'm like, content. Now, just like in working out, I had to learn like pin back my shoulders so I get my chest, not my shoulders when I work out. Mike and Jordan taught me that. Same reason I talk about TikTok this or Instagram that or LinkedIn this. Like, there is tactics within it, but always think content. You're not producing enough content for awareness of your shows. I promise that.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I have videographers, but I'm not repurposing the content anywhere, so I need to start doing that.
And guess what? You're fucking stuck in home with fucking the corona pandemic outside, so you can fucking make 1,000 pieces of content from the 4 events right now. Get into that post-edit life.
Got it. Amazing.
Right,
and
got you.
I got one final question if you got the time.
Go.
With all this coronavirus stuff and sports being canceled, how is Vayner Sports handling all your athletes and everything going on with that?
You know, we have 13 kids going into the draft, and that's staying real. So we're very busy with that. A lot of our vets have signed their contracts or under contract, so they're chilling at home, and we're texting them to keep them motivated, make sure they're working out, you know, in their playbook. You know, they're professionals. So, you know, the majority of our kids, one of the things with Vayner Sports is we're very focused on the quality of the human, and, you know, 98% of them are very capable of handling their shit. They're grown men. And so, even the youngest of the bunch. So it's been pretty cool, and we're in football, right? So they haven't missed anything yet. And so we're kind of okay for now.
Got it. Sounds good. Thank you.
Take care, bro. You got it. All right, let's see what's going on here. Some good sharing going on. Robert Zimbalis Jr., appreciate you. Robert Blake, thank you. Todd Social with a nice little share. Yes, I am, baby. I'm always keeping it 100, my man. You get a little follow there. I'm ready. Robert E. in the building. House of Juicy's in the building. Get a little retweet. A middle-aged guy. Appreciate that. I am back on. What is good? What is good? As we wait for Carla.
Okay, let me try it again.
Oh, I like the tea time. I like the stream on Facebook is popping. 6,000. Let's go. I know we're working on some technical difficulties with Carla. Can we go to the next one, Dustin, and get Carla on the back end?
Yeah.
All right. If you're not taking advantage of all the free advice, knowledge, and feedback that's going on in the live streaming world right now, you need to. I agree, Nick. Nick McHenry, you get a follow for that. I am your 78th follow. Nick, I'm just going to ask you, do you drink wine? Sure. Are you on wine text? That's a good question for everybody here. If you're drinking wine, get on wine text. Avery, what's good?
How you doing, Mr. Gary? I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for being on, brother. What's good?
I'm good, man. I'm 23 years old. I'm in college. It's my last year in college. I'm going to school for mechanical engineering, and my original dream was to come here and design cars, but like it's not working out because it's way too much work, and I realized I'm not into all the small details. So at this point, I know. But anyway, I've taken this class called Exploring Majors, my last year, obviously. But anyway, my new dream is to like have this YouTube channel where like I go around and I would ask kids like, hey, do you want to go for a ride in my car? And specifically, I'd have like a Gallardo or something, and then I'd talk about them, well, talk with them, and be like, hey, what are your like goals and ambitions in life? But I'm just undecided if this is like a reasonable dream to pursue, because I really just want to motivate and inspire kids to be like, hey, I want you to go out and do what you want to do. Don't do what everybody's telling you to do. Do it for you. Like, I want to do it. Not because mom wants me to go to college. Like, is this like something reasonable, or is that like...
It's very reasonable. I mean, A, you just got to make sure you don't get arrested for trying to roll up on kids and say, hey, get in my car. But I'm sure they have that prearranged. I'm just pleasant. So, yeah, I think it's super reasonable. I think Avery, I think you just need to realize that it's probably going to be 2 full years of you putting out videos on YouTube before it pops. And so can you afford to like be in a place where you're chasing that when you're not making any money? Can you get a bullshit job that pays you a little something to maintain a little rent and a little food? Like, you know what's funny? When I hear people say it's my dream, it always catches my attention, because I'm like, because I'm always like, is it? Because when I hear people say it's my dream, then I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. Hey, Avery, for 5 years, nothing good's going to happen. You're going to work at 7-Eleven or at an office or some shit just to pay rent and food so that the other 7 hours you can work on driving with Avery. Nothing good is going to happen for 5 years. You're not going to be fucking Gary Vee. You're not going to fucking pop. You're not going to make money. You're not. And if you're like that, then it is your dream and let's go. Yes, so all you need to do is find and this is a big shout out to everybody who's got a dream. The number one way as a young person to win on a dream is to find a bullshit job that doesn't take up a lot of time. Let me say it one more time because it's confusing as fuck. The way you actually, because if you went right out of school and started doing this and you had a couple of dollars saved up and you're couch serving or your parents are paying for it or whatever, cool. But guess what? It's only going to last 2 or 3 months because you're not going to, everyone's like, oh, by month 6, I'll be making $100,000 on ads on YouTube. It never happens. So the way to actually live a dream usually is for that dream to be your side hustle, but takes up all your free time because it's your dream now, right? It's not like kinda, it's your dream now. You know, it takes away from 2K, it takes away from hanging with your boys, it takes away from having a girlfriend, boyfriend, it takes away from shit. It's a fucking dream. The way to fucking have a dream is for you, when I'm listening, maybe you get a job as, you know, at a car business because you fuck with them, right? Like maybe you fucking work maybe you're you're a receptionist at a fucking car dealership.
No, I did that. I swear. I worked at Mitsubishi. I was the receptionist. I was the valet. I worked in parts. Like I've done all this car stuff. I've been around people. I'm definitely a people person, which is why I feel like I have to do this because I want people to be like, he can do it. Like everybody can.
Avery, good. Get a job at a school that pays for you to be able to have a roof and eat clearly. Not the kind of job that's going to give you a mansion and caviar, the kind of job that's going to give you Bojangles and 3 roommates, right?
Yeah.
And then you have 6 hours, 7 hours a day to fucking do your dream. It's very feasible. Is the concept right? You know the concept's right. Fucking the coffee with fucking comedians, Seinfeld shit. You've seen this already. Of course it's feasible. It's just going to come down to how talented you are.
I just wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if you were going to suggest like a podcast or like do something else besides like, oh, come check out this Lambo and go for a ride.
Good news. When you do the Lambo and go for a ride, you got to figure out how you're going to get these cars. But you know that I have a feeling you're going to try to figure that out. But
engineering, it's fine.
But you strip the audio and you make it a podcast. So you film it. You make it my podcast is a top 200 podcast in the world. And I never rarely sit down and actually do a podcast. It's just a script audio from shit I do like this.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I can roll with that.
The framework, Avery, is side job to pay for you to chase your dream for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I was going to do after I graduated. Nice $70,000 job. Hopefully just call it good. Thanks, man.
I love it, man. Good luck. Pleasure. Good kid. People jump into their dream, Dustin, and have no money, have no savings, have no reserves, and they have to quit after 5 weeks because miraculously they didn't become fucking Kevin Hart after 2 videos about humor. What they need to do is get that bullshit job, especially the reason I like receptionists and other shit like that is like, get me a job that actually lets me be on my phone 6 of the 7 hours as long as I'm taking care of the inbound so I can even keep pumping my shit. That pays. I get 2 roommates. I have a roof. I want people to have bullshit jobs and save money, which is why I'm like, hey, make 29K, but live a 22K life so you save, right? And it's obviously taxes or whatever, but like people get the point. I want you to make 29K, save $1,000 a year, and work on your fucking dream. Your fucking dream. Everyone talks about fucking dreams. If it's a fucking dream, you should bleed out of your eyes. If it's a fucking dream, you should sweat for a decade. It's a fucking dream. People think dreams are being handed out here like fucking candy. Love it. Getting hyped this morning. Brian Wiggins in the building.
are you?
Good. What's your name?
Carla.
Carla.
So
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So I'm a content creator in Instagram. I opened my Instagram about 2 years ago. I started my business in nursery decor. My background is engineering. I used to work for the city as a civil engineer. My husband was an architect and he quit his job. We wanted to spend more time with family. So we both quit our job and now we're working full time from home. So one of the questions I guess that I have, because, every platform is obviously different. We got a huge success on Instagram, but we're trying to replicate the business on TikTok. So how can you reach to TikTok? Because, I'm 38 years old. So, my crowd is a little bit different. The message that I have is different. I day trade. I have a lot of different experience. So to me, it's kind of fun to do, TikTok as a content creator. You're doing silly photos and you're doing dances with your kids and all of that. But as a business, how can you, be able to monetize that?
So what you need to do is you need to be you on that platform and wait for the platform to get older and wider. So I'm 44 years old and I'm doing plenty well on TikTok because 2 years ago or 18 months ago, I just made the content that I make. And so the biggest mistake that people make is they go into TikTok and they think they have to do dances. They think they have to do what works on TikTok. What they need to do is talk about what works for you. I want you to make a day trading TikTok, an information 1 minute about day trading. Now, it may not get as many views at first, but I don't know how early you got on Instagram, but at first, Instagram was just for photographers. It wasn't about personalities. It wasn't about business. It wasn't about motivation. It wasn't about humor. It wasn't about, people looking good. It was just about photography. And then it changed. Twitter was just about technology nerds talking about tech and Web 2.0. And then it changed. So you need to go on TikTok and be you and let the platform and the audience evolve into you, not you conforming to the platform. You just need a little patience. Understand?
Yes.
How about LinkedIn? Listening to you, I think LinkedIn could be a tremendous place because of your engineering, architecture, day trading. I think LinkedIn could be an incredible place. It'll be a little bit slower. It'll be more business, but I think it could be an incredible place for you guys to consider too. I'm very bullish on LinkedIn.
What about YouTube?
Always. YouTube is like oxygen. Anybody who's creating content needs to go on YouTube. The reason Instagrammers don't like YouTube is it takes a lot more work and it's a lot slower. And everybody got excited about how simple it was to just take a photo or a quick video and grow quickly on Instagram. It takes a lot more creativity and a lot more patience and a lot more work to grow on YouTube. But it is a very top important platform in the world.
Do you think it's important to post maybe 2 or 3 times a day on Instagram? I'm currently only posting once.
I do.
Okay.
I think you're missing out on opportunity. And I'm sure you've already seen how long have you been on Instagram?
2 years.
2?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So have you noticed even the last 6 months that the posts are declining or are you growing?
It's mixed. Sometimes it declines based on the content. So when I'm posting more with the kids, because I think people are seeing more my life, I get more likes. If it's more just me by myself, it's less likes. So it's mixed.
Understood. So I think you're missing opportunity. I think you should be posting 2 to 3 times a day, 100,000%.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, Carla. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Tea with Gary Vee, 30 minutes in, a lot of fire. I appreciate people that are sharing. I appreciate everybody who's sharing. Really do. I really do. Thank you, Michael. Tea with Mike, I like your handle. Yeah, Tristan, I like the people really responding to the dreams conversation on Twitter, which I appreciate. Marianne, Strategy Goddess, I appreciate that. You're getting a follow, Marianne. 194th follower. Oh, hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Brittany, but I go by Zakaya on all my social medias. How are you?
I'm good, Britt. I'm good, Zakaya.
So my question is, how can musicians and artists utilize LinkedIn? Because I hear you talking about it all the time, and I'm confused because I use, YouTube and TikTok, Instagram, but like I don't know how to use LinkedIn.
Did you ever use Facebook? Did you ever have a Facebook page, or was that before your time?
Yes, I had it. I have it. I hate it, but I have it.
It's changed. But did you ever have it and it was working back 4 years ago when it was popping?
Kind of, because I've only been doing my music stuff for a really short time where I focused.
Got it.
So I don't think I was in the time where I could have utilized it the way it should have been.
You have YouTube?
Yes.
And that's working? Or you like it? It's doing its thing?
It's doing okay. I don't post enough on there.
So LinkedIn is much more similar to YouTube and Facebook. Like literally you put a log form video in there and you just post it. LinkedIn is literally Facebook 7-8 years ago. Literally. Like you don't have to make it about business. You can literally post a picture of a cat and be like, my cat Rick, and call it a day. It's a social network now on top of just being a resume and business place. And it has a lot of organic reach. Early Instagram, early TikTok, early Snapchat, early it's real estate. Anything early where there's attention and not enough content is a great place for all of us, because literally you just post a 2-minute video of your music on there and you write some copy of like, hey, here's where you can be smart. Hey, take a break from your workday and hope you enjoy this song about birds or love or whatever. I think you'd be very surprised what happens on there. That's it. Literally, that's it.
Okay, because I always thought it was like a resume for working at a desk job, I guess.
It's not. It's become a content social network that's acting a lot more like Facebook did 7 years ago. Literally, I'm watching. I post about wine. I watch people post about exercise. Like it's a very, very effective platform. And what I like about it is you go there day one. Nobody's ever heard of you. You have no followers, and you post, and you have 137 people watch your video. It's getting free organic reach. And so many people watching right now don't have the money to launch a brand, which is why I constantly talk about organic platforms like TikTok and LinkedIn, because you can start with 0 cents and build your life.
Oh yeah. TikTok's crazy because I went on there and within like 4 videos, I had like 600, 800 views on one stupid video. And I didn't have any followers. So
that's right. How many times a day are you posting on TikTok?
Probably once every 2 days. It's not every day.
I think you need to really post 2 to 3 times a day on TikTok, especially if you're into music, because you're wasting away the time where there's free organic reach. And in 4 years, in 12 months, you're going to be sad that you didn't post 3 times a day.
Agreed. I think so. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Talk to you.
Bye.
Let's keep this going. Keep this going. Let's see who's sharing up there. Love it. Rabbit hole pictures. You get a follow. Boom. Tom, what's good?
Oh my gosh, Gary, this is crazy. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
I'm trying not to be nervous, but like, man, bro, you've helped me through so much. Like,
thank you.
I can't thank you enough, Gary. This is just crazy for me. So my question
Tom,
is coming.
Before you get into your question, what did I help you most with, and what was the piece of content, or what was the constant theme?
Oh, there's so much, Gary. I mean, mainly TikTok. I was doing Instagram, I was doing Snapchat, I was doing LinkedIn, I was doing all those platforms. But they just weren't really like popping. They weren't really exploding, and I was posting content. But TikTok, I went on it since September. I heard you talking about it. I'm like, okay, if Gary's talking about TikTok so much, let me do it. And so I've been posting like 3 times a day. And now I have like 40,000 followers. I'm talking about aviation, airline stuff. Like, it's just crazy. I'm not even doing the dancing stuff. Like, I'm just providing value. And like, I've made so many connections with people. It's really crazy. And I do these lives where like, I just go live with people. Like right now I'm taking advantage of the quarantine time, and I just go on there and talk to them and try and provide value, that you talk about. And it really hits home with them.
I love it, man. Poster child. Keep it going, Tom.
So, my question is how do I monetize on TikTok without like trying to sell? Like I have your marketing side that I just don't like selling, but these people, like these kids keep on asking me like, how do I invest in you? Because my dream is to start my own airline. just like how you're trying to buy the New York Jets. My dream is to start my own airline.
Cool.
And how do I invest in you? So like I don't have a product. So that's what that's what my question was about.
You know, unless Richie Rich is following you on TikTok, these kids aren't going to have enough money to really pop you up anyway. You know what I'd probably do? I'd probably draw. I'm not even kidding. I'd probably draw or have a design friend create a logo of your future airline, right? And create like and create a hoodie and like a beanie and a cap and see if like the audience wants to get on. It'd be really cool if you did something and it said coming 2047, did something cool like that. You could have some fun with merch on that. I also would tell you that if you don't need to monetize the audience, don't. I have continuously not monetized my audience around my subject matter. Obviously, I've started businesses like Empathy Wines and did a collaboration with K-Swiss where I'll bring awareness to things I've done, but I've never directly monetized my audience. And I always tell people, if you don't need to, don't, for as long as humanly possible, because it gives you such a better chance to actually build a real relationship. And then by the time, most people who are watching right now that are signing up for Wine Text are doing it because they know that it means a lot to me to help my dad, right? Yeah. And so I would tell you don't if you can afford it, and if you can't and you really need money, then I would consider swag based on the story I heard of the future brand, which I think could be really cool.
Well, I joke with my audience
and would fit the TikTok audience, like buying a $20 beanie with some rad fucking outline of an airline, like that seems like realistic versus taking funding from crowdsourcing to invest in your future airline that's 37 years away.
Yeah, and I tell my fans, they're like, when do you start your airline? I said, like 2070. Like it's all about the process. Like I'm not about to go rush in and start a freaking airline like so early. Like there's so much capital to that. And they've actually started like a fan account, and some of them are like making their own liveries and things like that. And like, I'm just literally going to post it on my TikTok. It's just crazy. The community that I built up there, it's true organic. It's true, like built up. And it's just, it's really crazy. And I'll take your advice. I've been joking about merch, but I noticed you don't really like to do merch. Like every time you do merch,
I fool around with it. I do merch once in a blue moon to test theories. I like, 1:37 p.m. the mail media site I have, I want to do a ton of merch there. So I've been using, some of the hoodies and different things I've done on my community or my world have been one-offs, limited edition. I mainly make them so that my fans can buy them and then reflip them on eBay and make money. Yeah, go play. Tom, I'm really happy for you, man. You sound real happy, and that makes me happy. So keep doing it.
I am, bro. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good kid. Like this shit. You know what's really fun about all this, Dustin, is like in 39 years watching a video, like the kid really goes and builds it, and then you can recall this video. That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Love it. Facebook, the 5,700 of you, let's share the shit out of the URL. Go to the top right now. Go to the bottom if you're on mobile and hit that little share button in the bottom left-hand corner. If you're on desktop, go to the top right now. Control C that URL and then post. Get some of these homies on here. Yo, Tony, what's good?
Oh, hey.
How are you?
You this morning?
I'm really well. Who's this little beautiful one?
This is Sirsha. This is my youngest of 3.
So pretty.
So, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Like I said, I have 3 kids, and my oldest is 15. He's actually sitting next to me. He is extraordinary, not because I'm his mother and he's my child, but ever since he was little, from the first time he could start talking, his motto was cash only. So this kid is just amazing. He tries to make a business out of anything that he's good at. He's always thinking about how can I make money? How can I help my parents? How can I, think about my future? 'Cause I don't know, maybe he gets it from me and his dad, but he is exceptional at a lot of things, and he agrees. So as a parent, I really want to encourage him with all of the things that he's good at and that he wants to pursue in the future, but he's 15. So do I encourage everything, or do I pick and choose a few things that, like niche things that he's really, really exceptional at?
Neither. You don't do anything other than cultivate the framework. You picking things for him is not a good strategy, in my opinion. I think what you need to do is give him protection to find his way. And so, good news. You're talking about a kid that sounds a lot like me, right? And so I think liking a lot of things is a good thing because he's tasting, he's learning. You have to understand, if he does 7 different businesses between 15 and 18 right now, and they all failed, that's actually a huge win for a kid that's wired like that, in the same way that it was for me. The losses, the things that didn't work are the reason I became successful. And it's having that freedom to start a pizza shop, to start a hot dog stand, to start a lawnmower business, to start flipping, to start a sneaker flipping, it's all that. He needs to taste, continue to taste. That's a huge, that is so much more valuable. If you told me his next 3 years was he did 11 things and only made $830, or he could have done one thing and made $90,000, I actually believe, based on what I'm listening to you, that the 11,830 is better.
Okay, wonderful.
Because he's a child. He's got his whole life in front of him. And the more he learns about himself right now and his interests, the more he's going to be able to build on that when he gets into prime time.
Wonderful. Okay. And he has his own mini business. It's called Wooden Wires, and he does electronic repair. He builds computers. He does all sorts of anything with electronics, really. And he does these little reviews almost of products that he uses. What's the one like that? It's like a glue or a heat glue. Okay, so he did this little thing on the thermal paste that he uses when he builds his computers. And
on
the
YouTube?
company, yeah.
And the company reached out?
Instagram. Text reviews on Instagram, I guess. Well, the company actually saw it and they used it, shared it and was like, hey, this is awesome. How do I get him to understand the value of sponsorship? I mean, he's 15. All he needs to do is reach out to them, say, hey, I really like your products. I saw that you retweeted or, shared my
What's
little
his name?
Blaze.
Hey, Blaze, do you want to reach out to brands and do that? Tell me the truth. Don't be scared.
It's
Come here.
it's an iffy kind of thing. It all depends on, I don't know if I have much to bring to that company.
Well, definitely don't do that, because the reality is, to your mom's point, if a company's already shared one of your reviews, it's likely that your communication style is bringing value. It's not that you might not have a big audience, which means it might not be an awareness play, but the quality, the content is so strong, and that is the value.
Yes.
Does that make sense, Blaze?
Yeah.
I think, look, Blaze, let me teach you another great business lesson at this age. And listen to your mom. Get here on camera. Don't ever, 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 ever say no for the other guy. Blaze, it's a big deal. One of the biggest things, Blaze, that I see a lot of people do is say no for them before they've asked. Right? So you're saying, I don't know, I wouldn't do this if I were. The amount of times people have paid me for things that I would not pay for is every time, because I wouldn't pay for anything because I don't need anything. Don't overthink it. Never, ever, ever, Blaze, say no for the other person before you ask. And listen, please do not underestimate the fact that that glue company or paste company used that piece of content. It just might mean that you really know your shit.
He does. He's amazing.
I believe it. Blaze, anything else I can answer for you that might be on your mind while we're here?
No, not really.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. My man, Blaze. Quiet, introverted entrepreneur killer. I can't wait to see that kid evolve. That was a really good lesson for everybody. Do not say no to the other person. Enough with this insecure shit. Like, you know how Dustin, you know how you walk around the world and you see like two people and like one's way more attractive than the other person. You're like, how the fuck did that happen, right?
That's my girlfriend.
Because get out of here, Dustin. You're super handsome. But like, you know, like that's because that person didn't say no for the other person, right? There's people that close deals that make no fucking sense. VaynerMedia had no money. I had no money when I started VaynerMedia because I didn't have a lot of money building the wine business. And then what I did have, I just invested in Facebook and Twitter. So we had no money. That's why we started in a conference room in another company. Our first client, you know, what we pitched them was not something I would have bought with Procter & Gamble, Gillette razors. Like, but they bought it. They needed it. And so, like, I don't get to judge, you know? And so that's the game. That is the fucking game. Never say no for the other person. Motherfucking big principle for me. Jesus. You know? Fab Rants, thank you so much. Virtual Scribe, John, I want to buy some wine as a token of my appreciation, but I don't like wine. Which empathy? John, Cameron, buy the rosé. You'll be surprised how much you like it. I pumped it with sugar, so it's just straight delicious. Kenobi's having tea with me. Let's share him. Oh, I'm sorry. Isaac.
Hey, Gary. How's it going, man?
Super well. How are you?
Doing very well. Every day above ground is a good day, right?
I'm a believer in that shit.
That's right. So, hey, thanks for taking my call, man. Appreciate everything you do. You're super highly motivational. I really, really appreciate it. So
thank you.
Share your content out every chance I get because you speak the truth, man.
Thank you, brother.
But my question is,
yes.
Here he goes. My dilemma is my mind feels like it's going in every single direction all the time. My wife puts it the best way as it's like a junk drawer in your kitchen on a trampoline.
I like that.
So,
by the way, you know who else is like that? This guy.
Yeah, she's like, you got
It's called being creative.
Yes, that's what she said. She's got a very creative mind, and the problem is I'll have something going, and it feels like I have momentum going on. Then all of a sudden, fucking squirrel, right? Like, oh my God, I've got this other idea that I want to get going. Yes.
Isaac, have you ever thought that the concept of being happy is cooler than making money?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Well, good. If you actually believe that, then this conversation's over.
Yeah. Well, here the thing is I'm in real estate, and you know, another one of my hobbies that I absolutely love to do. So I usually will kill it the first part of the year, and the second part of the year I'm in the mountains about 3 or 4 months out of the year. So create content for that because that's my passion. I really love doing that, but also I really love helping people get into their houses also, first-time home buyers. So, but the problem is
your wife is like, hey, Dick, stop doing the fucking mountain house shit because if you just focused on real estate, you'd make twice the money?
No, she's very supportive, actually. She loves doing it. So
what's the problem?
So my problem is I'll get a project going, and it's such a great idea that everybody's like, why don't you keep going with that idea? You know,
you don't want to.
And another idea pops up, and I start doing something else.
Isaac, 7 years ago, I could have raised a $500 million fund, made $10 million a year just to take meetings, and got 20% of the back end of any deal that won if I had invested properly. I could have been a monster venture capitalist. I could have made bank because I invested in Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. I became Gary Vee. Like, I had juice. There was family offices, billionaires throwing money at me. Take 50 million, take 10 million. Like, I could have built a huge fund. Again, for everybody who doesn't know how a venture capitalist fund runs, is the business is you get 2% to manage the money, and you get 20% of the back end of any of the profits. And if you raise $500 million, you can make at 2%, you can make, $10 million a year just taking meetings and doling out money, and had all the back end. I didn't do it because I didn't want to.
Right.
Because I actually live my life the way I talk about it, which is happiness over cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And my whole point is I like to create or provide value to somebody, especially like right now during the real estate time. There's a lot of uncertainty in a lot of people's minds. So, just creating that value to
Isaac, one day, and if I have anything to do with it, sooner than later. One day, we as humans are going to change the word success to mean happy, not rich. And when that happens, you're going to tell your friends, hey, why are you doing that job that has 400,000, but you're drinking alcohol every night because you're actually unhappy?
Yes.
Isaac, I think you're winning. And people that are straight, that want you to just pick one thing and stay focused, can go fuck themselves.
Right. Exactly. You know.
Are you happy?
I'm extremely happy.
Are you paying your bills?
I'd be happy.
Yeah. Are you paying your bills?
Oh yeah.
You're fucking winning.
I've never had a problem paying my bills ever. So
Isaac,
during the last
from
downturn,
now on, go ahead. I'm sorry.
During the last real estate downturn, my wife and I, we took a little hiatus and we traveled and we did roadside sales. Selling blankets on the side of the street.
Did you save some money prior to that collapse?
We did not, unfortunately, back then.
Have you saved some money this time around?
Yep.
One of the biggest reasons I'm happy, I'm very devastated about Corona. One of the small, subtle, nice things that's going to happen from this is a lot of people are going to learn their first punch in the face, and over the next decade, they will save a little money.
Yeah.
So that when something happens in 13 years, that's unfortunate, they'll be prepared.
Yeah.
Isaac, I see nothing wrong here. I see everything right.
Awesome.
Thanks, I want you to start a project in business every 3 months and then fucking throw it to the garbage because you scratched your itch. Yeah. One thing you could consider, Isaac, instead of shutting them down is bringing in a partner that you give 50% to be the operator, and then you're getting some potential passive income. Nothing's passive. I talk about that because that person could quit. You'll always have to be on, but you could extract value out of some of these ideas and projects by finding people to run them. And if you really take the worst case scenario and say, okay, I'm going to bring Susan in. We're going to be 50-50. Susan's going to quit after 6 months and start her own version of it because she's going to get upset that I'm no longer doing anything. As long as you're okay with that, which I love thinking worst case scenario, then you could be a really great spot.
Okay.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah. Like one, for example, especially right now, since there's, self-isolations going on, is a couple of years ago during like Periscope boom and all that blab and all that stuff, as you remember, I started a platform, Home Tours Live. And the problem that I had is a lot of people had a hard time going live because that fear of, public speaking essentially. Yep. So, and that's one of the ideas that I had before. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is a great time to relaunch that essentially.
Try.
So, yeah.
Try right now. Hang up and try.
Yeah. We'll
talk to you soon, brother.
Appreciate it. Take care, Ben.
Take care. Let's keep this going. Let's keep it going. What's happening on Twitter, Dustin? We keep it going. Here we go. Tyson's in the building. Tyson, how are you?
Good, Gary. How you doing?
Really well.
Hey, man, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for everything that you do, man. I mean, you got a great message out there and speak a lot of truth, and I really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you for saying that, sir.
So just to kind of jump straight in, give you a little bit of context. I spent the last I got 3 kids. I spent the last probably 5 or 6 years. I coach a lot of baseball for youth baseball, and I'm kind of at the limit now to where my older son, he's out of my skill set to what I could teach him anything anymore. He's in a more competitive landscape now, doing travel baseball. He's been doing it for like the last year. My daughter also does competitive cheerleading as well. So over the last year, I've done a lot of networking, got to meet a lot of like club owners, club presidents, facility managers, facility owners. So I've got a few friends that own training facilities and teams in the Sacramento, California area. So
understood.
So right now, this is typically the time of the year where we would be doing all the advertising, trying to recruit, bring in new athletes and things like that. So being that we don't really have the normal traditional avenues that we've had in the past, we're trying to adapt. And I'm working with some of the owners of some options that we have. So I've talked to them about doing Instagram story ads, running Facebook ads, and we're trying to target, more on the Instagram side. We're aiming more towards the athlete age kids, whereas Facebook, we're aiming more towards the parents.
I like everything I'm hearing.
What's that?
I like everything I'm hearing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But I've also heard you talk in the past about influencer marketing as well, and how it's underpriced pretty relatively new and underused. Yeah, potentially. So I wanted to see, is there anything we could do to tie influencer marketing in a more localized region, or is that more for like product placement, broadcasting?
Yeah, because your business is so local, you're gonna need to steal an influencer so much so that you're okay with the residual 4% of the audience that lives in your general area, and then you need to repurpose that person's video in your own channels, maybe for a cosign. So I do think former professional baseball players, for example, don't have a big market. So I could definitely see, former Sacramento Kings, ironically, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, are very underpriced. So you might be able to extract some Sacramento Kings stuff. You might be able to focus on some Angels and Dodgers that are retired for some stuff that might over resonate because they were popular in the general region. But when you're localized, influencer marketing has to be hyper local influencers, which oftentimes may, for a business as niche as what you're talking about, for Wine Library, a local mom influencer in a New Jersey suburb works. For you, it's so narrow that that it might be a little bit of a challenge, but I would still test it. I would still, reach out to 15 alpha moms in the Sacramento high net worth neighborhoods region and say, can we make a piece of content and see if it hits the parents and leads to business. The answer is never no. You always have to spend $500 to $1,000 when you can afford it to try some shit.
Okay. I've heard you talk about the alpha mom thing in the past too, and I think that
I'm a big fan of the alpha mom.
Yeah, especially when it goes to more like the cheer side of things too, where maybe they cheered 20 years ago. I think that could be a huge impact thing as well. So, one of my friends over at Davis Sports Academy, they have a lot of friends that have played baseball in the past, and this was probably about 20 years ago they were in the game too, so they might have some connections there. Might be
and you'd be surprised how cheap Vernon Wells or Chris Iannetta or you could really steal 500. I mean, they're not getting deals. Baseball players are not. Mike Trout's not getting enough deals, let alone a retired baseball from 20 years ago on a California baseball team. So I would consider that heavily.
Okay. And that's kind of more the short-term gear that we're heading towards. But in the long-term thing for branding, trying to aim for the kids that maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now might be looking for teams, what would you suggest the avenues that we take for TikTok? That like 9 to 12-year-old age?
Oh, my God, what a fucking dream. TikTok, I would be putting out 3 baseball instructional or cheer instructional videos a day.
Okay. Perfect. That's
awesome.
all I got, Gary.
I mean,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
The cheerleading business on TikTok is fucking layup city.
It's huge. Huge. We went to, Indianapolis here just back in January, and it's crazy. I think we had upwards towards 10,000 athletes, 10,000 cheerleaders never met each other, and they're just jumping in, meeting each other, jumping in each other's videos, walking by and then jumping in. It's crazy. Like that's the
really
ultimate
nice
social network for their age right there.
100%. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
Talk to you
soon.
soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks.